Hello scaredy cats, it's me, Scaredy Matt. Today we're starting off on a journey that's very personal to me. Wishmaster is not one of the best movies I've ever seen, but it's absolutely one of my favorites. Back in university, me and my friends were obsessed with the Wishmaster franchise. To this day, if anyone starts a sentence with the phrase, I wish, I have to turn to them and say, Granted. I would recommend this movie to anyone, but if you're a horror fan specifically and you haven't seen Wishmaster, let me just spend a minute telling you how bad you fucked up. You got cameos by Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund. You got the indisputably best Jason Voorhees, Kane Hodder, Angus Scrimm and Reggie Bannister from Phantasm, Ted Raimi, who's not only Sam Raimi's brother, but he's also the weird bad boy in the flashback that starts Candyman. Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, Tony Todd from Candyman. Legendary special effects master Tom Savini, who you might also recognize as Sex Machine in From Dusk Till Dawn, or more importantly, Morgan Le Fay in George A. Romero's Knight Riders. And Joseph Pilato, the man who delivered the best line read in cinema history.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time!
Not only that, it's produced by Wes Craven, the music was composed by
Harry Manfredini,
the guy who did the music for Friday the 13th. That's right, the and it's directed by Robert Kurtzman, who did special effects makeup in everything from Night of the Creeps, to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, to fucking Little Nicky, to the Bye Bye Man. And somehow, despite this ridiculous pedigree, despite all of these incredibly iconic actors, this man, Andrew Divoff, who you've probably never heard of, steals the show so hard that you forget there's an entire movie happening around him. Aside from Wishmaster 1 and 2, he's most famous for being a recurring guest star on Lost as the character Mikhail Bakunin. Sounds familiar for some reason. A lot of roles are inseparable from the actors that made them famous, but the Djinn in Wishmaster is not a character, it is a performance by Divoff and nothing more. Listen to the way he talks and overpronounces all of his words.
Run, insect. Run and tell those you will what you will. Tell them there is something loose in their city. Something which feeds on wishes.
I love the way he speaks. I could listen to Divoff in character read out the phone book, and then I'd say, hey, when are they going to write phone book 2 so he can read that? Kids, ask your parents what a phone book is. Wishmaster opens back in ancient times with a monologue from the tall man explaining that Djinns play a good game, boy.
Fear one thing only in all that is. Fear the Djinn.
While a gem is being forged, I get that this is a magic gem, but come on, that isn't how gems work. Anyway, this is followed by a montage of crazy shit, including a scene where a skeleton rebels against a human body and removes itself, and attacks everyone else, I assume, to pull their hair up, but not out.
They pull your hair up, but not out, to turn into a man and have another chance at life. But if they pull it out, they turn to bone.
The gem forging wizard finds the king of whatever country they're in, being tricked by the Djinn into wishing away all the chaos he's created. But before the king can make his third wish, the wizard locks the Djinn in a gem he made like a blacksmith. I'm not letting it go. That is not how gems work. We flash forward from the ancient past to the slightly less ancient past of 1997. Robert Englund is shipping a statue from the Middle East, but uh-oh, the crane operator is cartoonishly drunk at work and drops the statue on Ted Raimi, smushing him instantly. One of the other workers sees the magic gem and pockets it because this is the worst dock in history with the worst dock workers ever imaginable. He sells the gem to a pawnbroker who brings it to an appraisal shop, and we meet our protagonist, Alex. A gem lady who knows gem stuff. It's a big expensive gem, except it has one small flaw, which is that there's a Djinn inside it, and it wakes up, and now he needs Alex to make 3 wishes so that he can fulfill a prophecy that allows him to bring all his Djinn pals to Earth and fuck shit up. Those are the types of impurities in a gem structure that are the result of forging a gem like a blacksmith, which is not how gems work. She brings the gem to her best friend and tennis partner Josh, who's in love with her. And she's like, yo Josh, I do not want to date you. And he's like, please? and she keeps saying no, and the film wants you to like him, and it's deeply uncomfortable.
Yes, we go out all the time, but we don't go out.
Josh?
There's a difference. Come on, Alex. It is so old. It's a date. How about dinner and a movie?
How about hot dogs and a ball game?
I'm casting a spell on you here, Alex. Maybe it'll work. Come on, you want to stay?
No, I can't. I've got to put my girls through their paces.
Yeah. Well, how about that dinner then?
Anyway, Josh is a geologist or some shit, and he shoots lasers at things in a big machine. That's his job. And apparently, he has full discretion about what he's allowed to put in the machine because he put the gem in there because the girl he likes asked him to. That, of course, destroys the gem and the machine, and the Djinn crawls out, but he's a little baby Djinn played by Vern Troyer. Then he tricks Josh into making a cheeky little wish, and that gives him all his height back and makes him extra gooey. The Djinn is all-powerful, but can only use his powers to grant wishes. But he has full discretion over how he grants the wish. And also, he's just a real asshole, and he'll trick you into phrasing your wish in a way that makes it kill you. You don't have to know you're making a wish either, you just have to ask him for anything, no matter how abstract. A typical interaction with a Wishmaster goes something like this. Someone walks up to him and says, "Hey buddy, you got the time?" And then he says, "So, you want me to give you the time?" And they say, "Yeah, that'd be good." And he says, "Granted." And then they age real fast. See, get it? Because he gave them time. That's the type of shit he does. And even if you manage to outsmart him and make a cool wish that doesn't blow up in your face, he'll grant it, but then he's able to trap you inside his bullshit gem and torture you, so you're fucked either way. Don't take wishes from him, please. Anyway, Alex knows what's up. She knows the gem was haunted and the gem killed Josh. So she tracks down the guy who stole it. He sexually harasses her because, again, just the worst doc in history. Just the worst. Just the worst. He tells her the whole thing about the guy getting smashed and then the other guy getting smashed. She goes to see Robert Englund, who is just horny for ancient gods, just absolutely loves ancient gods. He talks a lot about Ahura Mazda, the god of Zoroastrianism. And like, the way he does it, it seems like the filmmakers were not aware that there are still practicing Zoroastrians. That's not a dead god, it's very much a thriving religion.
My room of lost gods, once worshipped, now forgotten from every culture of ancient history.
Yes, what exactly is Ahura Mazda?
But for what it's worth, he was the monotheistic deity of the Zoroastrian religion.
Wishmaster plays it pretty fast and loose with the mythology it's based on. The whole Djinn granting wishes thing isn't, well, that's not typically what Djinn do. That was just kind of a one-time deal with Aladdin. Anywho, Robert Englund refers Alex to this lady who's a world-renowned Djinnologist or something. She explains all the Djinn shit to Alex. Alex is caught up. She knows all about Djinns. Meanwhile, that pesky Djinn is up to all sorts of shenanigans after stealing a dead guy's face, which lets him transform into that guy. Just go with it. He's granting wishes all over town. Also, every woman is weirdly horny for him. There are multiple scenes where women see the Djinn's human form, Nathaniel Devereaux, and they're like, "Yum yum, gimme some."
Wow.
I'm glad you approve.
Do you want to try something else? A different style, maybe? Tighter?
Alex goes back to the Djinn lady, except oops, it's the Djinn! Then Alex does what everybody in the audience is yelling at her to do.
Blow your brains out. Right now.
Very well.
Oh shit, now what? They have a battle of wits inside the magic gem, and then the Djinn goes to a party that Freddy Krueger is hosting so he can do evil wishes to her sister. Freddy makes the worst fucking wish you could possibly make to this guy.
I remember a certain potentate whose last party was talked about for centuries.
God, how I'd love to host a party like that.
As you wish.
And then shit goes nuts again, because one montage of creative and elaborate visual effects wasn't enough for Wishmaster. You gotta get two. Uh-oh, Alex's sister is a painting now, and she's down to her final wish. One more wish, and the Djinns rule the world! She wishes that the terrible dock worker didn't drink on the job, and the Djinn is like, "Ah, sick, I love wishes." But that also means he never got set free in the first place, so he gets sucked back into the gem, and he's like, "Dang, this sucks for me." Alex settles down with Josh the sex pest, and we get one last spooky look at that Djinn hanging out inside the statue being all grumpy, which I guess is supposed to be scary, except that the movie just told you exactly how to defeat him. My only wish is that there were more Wishmaster movies to talk about.
As you wish.
Next time we're going to talk about Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies. When I watched it in university, I remember thinking it was the best one, and I'm eager to see how it holds up. After having just rewatched the first one, I would be shocked if the second one is actually better. I probably just had shitty taste in my 20s. Not to mention, I was most likely pretty drunk when I watched this with my friends. Now, it's not like we're going to cover all 4 Wishmaster movies in succession, including the 4th Wishmaster movie, which is kind of a softcore erotica. That would be ridiculous. Actually, never mind. We're going to do exactly that. That's the thing we're going to do. Buckle up. This is a Wishmaster channel until the prophecy is fulfilled. Why don't you grant my wishes and subscribe to Scaredy Cats? Click the like button. Also, ring that irritating little bell. Click all the things under the bell too. It's a lot of things you got to do now. And tell your friends, tell all your gorehound friends about Scaredy Cats and Wishmaster. Bye!